How are we doing, guys? Always TV, Cardiff 2, Leeds 0, match review of the game. So obviously very, very disappointing. I think that's the only word you can have for it. Just to start off with, guys, I do apologise. I'm not filming from the studio, as you'll be able to see. Obviously the new studio made its debut. But I noticed on the preview I did for this game, there was a bit of a buzzing sound on the noise. It's just something I need to sort out of the recording equipment. I want to sort that out before I start filming from the studio, to be fair. I want the quality to be better. And yeah, I will sort that out, guys, hopefully in time for the Fulham preview at the start of next week. But guys, I do apologise for that, but hopefully you'll appreciate I was a bit concerned about the sound quality. Hopefully it will be a lot better from this position currently, but I will sort it out, guys. So the game itself, I already said disappointing, but I mean, what more can you say, really? It's one of those games. I don't think Cardiff can genuinely say they deserve to win the game. I don't think we can either. I just thought it was a really even game. I thought it was a poor game of football, to be honest. I thought both teams didn't pass the ball particularly well. But let's give credit to Cardiff. Let's give credit to Cardiff. I'm not going to be salty. I don't think they were great football inside. There's all the stats in the world tell you that. The bottom of the league for possession, bottom of the league for completed passes, etc., etc. They're not a football inside, but they're a smart side. They're a smart side. They have a front four that's very reliable. We've seen that today to our cost. They've had two chances, Glatzel and Hoylett, from distance, not easy chances, half chances at best, and they've taken them. They've taken those chances, and it's the difference, isn't it? It's been the difference today. We've made mistakes in both goals, in the build-up, in both goals, and it's cost us today. You only have to look at the stats, but the stats don't tell you every story. But I can't genuinely say we deserve to lose the game today. I can't say we were good today by any stretch of the imagination, because we weren't. We were pretty poor today for large majorities of the game. I thought we started the game slow. It only took until after sort of like the first water break until we sort of started to get going. I thought the first 20-25 minutes Cardiff were the better team. They weren't really creating anything as such. We were defending okay. We seemed to be coping okay with them. We were having little moments in that lot, but we didn't look good in that first sort of 20-25 minutes. But then, in sort of the 20 minutes prior to half-time, I thought we were starting to get our rhythm going. We had a couple of chances. Again, half chances, I guess. Obviously, the big one. Look, the big one is obviously the Jack Harrison one that Patrick Bamford unbelievably blocks off the line. I don't know how that's happened. I don't know why Patrick Bamford stood there on his goal line. Even if it doesn't go to Jack Harrison, Patrick Bamford's completely out of the game there. He's stood offside. How can he stood offside, when the ball's in the box? You've got to really react quicker to that. So yeah, that's massively disappointing. Obviously if that goes in, it's a different game, but it didn't go in, did it? So that it doesn't matter. I think Jack Harrison had another one blocks. Luke Hayden has that one blocked off the line. Look, the half chances, but there's opportunities there that maybe more clinical teams would have taken. Cardiff get the goal, let's be honest, completely against run of play, but it came from what Cardiff were trying to do. They were trying to press us high up the pitch. They were trying to force mistakes. I didn't think I thought in spells, I think when they went one up, they started to drop back a little bit, went a little bit more reserved. But to be fair, I thought Cardiff came at us in the first half an hour, 40 minutes, and then they got the goal, and fair play to them. And I'm not going to be salty about that. They set up to play football, they set up to win the game, and they managed it well. Let's be honest, they managed it well. We played it into their hands quite a bit, because missing chances, misplacing passes, not getting a general rhythm to the game. But yeah, that was disappointing from that point of view. Second half was very disappointing. Again, we created opportunities. Patrick Bamford's had two. Jack Harrison's had two, I think, as well. And Cardiff have had one, and then one massive opening towards the end of the game to make it 3-0. And that's the difference, isn't it, guys? That's the difference. Cardiff had two half chances at best, and they took them. They took him because they've got quality. Let's not forget for a second here, guys. Let's not forget this Cardiff team was in the Premier League last season. This Cardiff team almost stayed up. It almost stayed up. This Cardiff team was not a terrible team in the Premier League last season. It wasn't great to watch by any stretch of the imagination. I can't think of any Neil Warnock team that is great to watch, but they are a smart team. They're a smart team. I don't think you become a poor team over a season. I think this season they've been disappointing, but you can't mistake a disappointing season for being a poor team. In terms of football, from a footballing perspective, in terms of passing the ball, creating chances, and looking, like a good footballing side, they're not great, but they're a smart side. They play football in a different way. I think I made the comparison during the watch along. I don't know if you guys watched. They're very much like a Stoke City from back in the day, under Tony Pulis. All these long throws going in off Will Volks, etc., etc. And to be fair, we coped with them quite well, but and then we made our own mistakes, and that's the way it goes. But this Cardiff team will be near the playoffs. I'm not sure if they will make the playoffs. I think there is better teams in and around there. Who create more chances and score more goals. But again, they're going to be up there. I think they're about 9th or 10th now. They'll probably finish higher in the table than it suggests. So, look, this isn't a poor team we've lost to. We've lost to much lesser teams this season, if you like, and it's just the way it is, isn't it, guys? I thought we were complacent in the build-up. That was the most disappointing thing. We made some very unusual mistakes. Calvin very rarely gives the ball away in those kind of situations. He's just tries to be a little bit too clever. I can see what he's tried to do. He's tried to pick Luke Ayling out on the right-hand side with the first-time pass to try and bypass the press, but he hasn't looked. He hasn't seen that Hoylett's just moved across, just got in front of Ayling, and then your pass going there, he's going to get ahead of. And to be fair, if Calvin had looked, the goal wouldn't have happened. He had taken a touch, taken it away, and just gone the other side. He'd gone down to the left-hand side to Dallas. So, yeah, it was just being complacent. It was a mistake. It was a wake-up call. And yeah, it was disappointing from that perspective. And then we made the same mistake again. Liam Cooper, obviously he's done the same thing, but on the other side to Alioski, he's just not looked. Alioski hasn't come to the ball, and it's another goal. And that's the way it goes, isn't it, guys? I think when you face a team that presses high at the pitch, you've got to make sure your touch is sharp. You've got to make sure you get yourselves out the first third, if you like, and you progress with the ball. And that's normally the strength of the team. So it's unusual. It's a very unusual game. We've seen Calvin Phillips, Liam Cooper, Ben White on the goal as well. Make mistakes. Our most reliable players in the team. Mateusz Klich didn't have a good game by any stretch of the imagination. Again, it all everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong today. I'm not making excuses for Leeds, but a lot of circumstances went against us. Cardiff were clinical, and that's we just have to accept that. We just have to accept that. And that's why they've still got a chance of the playoffs, despite not having much of the ball. Having playing on the back foot in a lot of games, and that's just what happens. I thought we were poor, but I still think we should have scored goals today. I think Patrick Bamford should have had 2 today. Jack Harrison should have had 2 today. There's so many players who could have scored today. Luke Ayling could have scored today. It's just Jack. I've said about Jack Harrison. You have to score the goals. You're not going to play well every single game. It's just the way it is, isn't it, for any team? Any team in the world isn't going to play well every game, but you've got to have that end product. And I just don't think we have that at the minute. I'm going to go on to that later on in the review, but I thought the substitutions were disappointing too. I can't understand for the life of me why Luke Ayling's come off. Luke Ayling, I thought was good today. I thought in the build-up he was our most comfortable player, probably our best defender. I thought Hoylett only really started to become a real threat when Ayling came off and Dallas went to the right back. We know Alioski's not suitable as a left back. Maybe when you're chasing a game, but at that stage of the game, it didn't work. And yeah, the substitutions were disappointing. I think Poveda coming on for Costa is very much a like-for-like substitution. I think we needed to try something different. Maybe Roberts go up front like he did against Hull. Poveda goes in that 10. Costa and Harrison stay out wide. Maybe with a different dynamic, we get back into the game. I just thought the substitutions were a bit too like-for-like. I think Robbie Gotts came on, etc., etc. Okay, it was with 5 minutes to go, probably to get a bit of experience, etc., etc. But yeah, I was disappointed with the substitutions today, to be honest. I didn't think they changed the game at all. I think Poveda looked good, but it was very much a situation where it wasn't going to change the game that much because he offered a very similar kind of threat to Costa. Always on the ball, always looking lively, but again, we needed to try something different in that final third, have a different balance to the attack, a different angle to the attack, if you like. And yeah, I thought as the whole game, other than sort of 10, 15 minutes before half time, ironically when we conceded, there wasn't enough tempo. We got into that final third and there wasn't enough tempo. You look at the space Cardiff leave behind them. They leave so much space. They play with quite a high line. I thought Sanderson didn't look good at right back. Joe Bennett wasn't particularly convincing to me off the ball. I don't think the midfielders are particularly great off the ball. I think Will Volks is a good player. Bakun is a good player. Joe Rawls is a good player, but I don't think they're great off the ball. I think they're just very smart players. I don't think they're particularly great off the ball. They leave a lot of space in behind them. And we weren't playing with enough tempo. We weren't exposing that space left behind because every time we were playing the ball, we were taking 3, 4, 5 touches and it let Cardiff get back into a settled shape. And that was the thing I said before the game. transition. We needed to be better in the transition. And to be fair, before lockdown, I thought we were really starting to punish teams in transition. We saw those 2 goals against Hull that Tyler Roberts scored. We needed to see that today. We needed to see that today, and the opportunity was there. We still created chances, but we could have created more if we'd have taken that opportunity. We seem to be playing quite direct at times, just throwing the ball into the box, hoping for the best into Bamford, or, launching the ball forward in terms of trying to cross fielder. And it wasn't working for us. We needed the more combination play, little smart passes. We saw a little bit of a, on the left-hand side in the first half, the first sort of 30, 40 minutes. I thought Harrison, Roberts, some nice combinations. I don't think Harrison was particularly good today. I thought it was probably one of Harrison's worst games of the season, but he looked good in the combinations. Maybe that was a way of getting around Cardiff, overloading them in those situations. And maybe that was what we're trying to do, bringing Alioski on. But again, it was so disappointing. It did. And what I felt at half time was I didn't feel nervous at half time because I thought, okay, we've not been great in that first half, but we will respond in the second half. Bielsa will bollock him and we'll respond in the second half. And to be fair, I think Connor's mentioned it as well. We were as bad in the second half as we were in the first half. So that's the disappointment that we didn't respond to going behind. We didn't show that good mentality, that winning mentality to come back from behind. But, we still had chances, didn't we, guys? We still had chances. That's the way the Bielsa team works. And that's what's going to bring me on to the next bit. Cardiff left loads of space. I've said it before, and we weren't brave enough. We didn't take enough risks with the ball. How many times did we get the ball in areas when you thought, the cross isn't working for us, going direct isn't working for us, why don't we try a shot? We've got Costa, we've got Click, we've got Roberts, we've got Harrison, players who can shoot from distance. We never tried that once. The only save Smithy made was the excellent one of Roberts towards the end of the game, and one of Harrison. So it's disappointing. We haven't tested the keeper more. Cardiff have conceded 50 goals this season. They're clearly not a good team at the back. They're clearly not strong at the back. They've not got a lot of pace at the back, and we didn't make the most of it. That's the frustration. We're going to play teams that are going to test us more than Cardiff have today. I'll be honest, that is coming up. We've got Swansea, we've got Fulham, we've got Blackburn who are doing well, to be fair to them. We've got some tough games. I think Derby as well. Derby is starting to get a bit of form. We're always poor against Derby, aren't we, in general? So, we've got tough games coming up. We've got similar kind of games, and maybe even tougher than today. Probably even tougher than today. We're playing really good footballing sides. So, it is a worry from that perspective. But, the biggest thing for me is the front three. Costa, Bamford, Harrison. Costa 3 goals, Bamford 13 goals, Harrison 5 goals. It's not enough. It's not enough. At the end of the day, goals change games. We can talk about all the fantastic football we play, all the chances we create, how nice we are to watch, how dominant we are, our XG, etc., etc. But you have to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's a big thing. But what I will say is if we can get Pablo and Tyler into the same team, we will be a much better team. We will go up that next level. We've seen Tyler Roberts. They are our best players in the final third. They're our most clinical players in the final third. Roberts has scored 3 goals and he's played almost 2,000 minutes less than Harrison and Costa. He's clearly got that end product. He's clearly got that extra end product that those two perhaps don't have. I'm not saying they're bad players, but we've got to change something in that front three. We can say how good Bamford's link-up play is. I'm not particularly convinced by that now. I think since West Brom away, we're going back to New Year's Day now. I can't think of many good Bamford performances. I like Bamford. I've said before I like Bamford, but to be honest, he's starting to look like the Bamford of last season. Disinterested at times, getting bullied on the ball, bullied off the ball, etc., etc. Not scoring, taking his chances. It's the same kind of thing. Costa, I thought was okay today. I didn't think he was poor today. I thought he was okay in general. A couple of decent moments. Harrison was poor today, but I think Costa and Harrison I'm okay with out wide. But I think we've got to change something up top. Got to change something up top for me, or just something in that final third, because we can talk about all the great football we play, but we still don't score enough goals. Let's address that now. It's not a case of we're not creating chances. The issue is taking the chances, and the only way you change that is if you change the balance of the attack. You get the best players on the end of the chances. You get Roberts on the end of the chances. You get Pablo on the end of the chances, and that's how you start to score more goals and put games like this to bed. Even if we didn't play well, that was still a game we should have won. We still should have won that game. We still should have took a couple of those chances today. And we would have been talking about a different game. It's the same. it's so frustrating, isn't it, this Leeds team? But yeah, it's just the way it is, guys. I think we've played worse this season, to be honest. I think we have played worse this season. I think at the time, an hour or so ago, I was furious. But, I've calmed down a bit. I'm confident if we can get Pablo and Tyler into the same team, however we do it, we can do that. I don't think Click, KP, Cooper, White, the spine of the team, will play that badly as a unit again this season. It's almost impossible for them to play as bad as that again this season. We know we're all 4 top players and massive players to this team, show massive leadership to the team, crucial players to the team, and it's one of those things, guys. So I'm not panicking too much. Luckily results have gone our way. I think the big thing is the next 2 games. Of course, the Fulham game's a big game, the Luton game's a big game. 2 home games, an opportunity, to get hopefully at least a win on the board. Even better, let's get 2 wins on the board. Let's try and aim for 4 to 6 points. Really put the pressure on the rest of the the chasing pack. Because let's not forget here, we can't talk about West Brom like they've gone. West Brom aren't promoted yet. West Brom drew 0-0 at home to Birmingham yesterday. They drew 0-0 with Swansea prior to lockdown. They weren't on a fantastic run of form prior to lockdown. So let's not talk about West Brom like they're gone. For what it's worth, I do think West Brom will go up, but it's not the end of a closed done thing, is it? Let's be honest. It's there's still a long way to go for every single team. You're in a fantastic position. If it becomes a pattern, what we've seen today, there's a time to worry. But I'm not massively worried. I've calmed down a bit. I think we'll learn a lot from today. The errors we made in the build-up won't be as complacent against Fulham. I'm pretty confident of that. I'm sure Bielsa won't allow that. But yeah, guys, I think it's just important we get perspective. It's frustrating. You guys might think of being over positive, but I'm not going to try and dress it up and say we were any good today. We weren't, but I've seen enough from this Leeds team. I've seen enough from this Leeds team prior to lockdown to say that I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. I don't think we'll face many teams as clinical as Cardiff this season. I think they are one of the most clinical teams in terms of conversion rate in the league. So hopefully we'll do okay from there. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Make sure you check out Connor's review, which is already up on the channel, and Joe's review, which will be up later on. I'm also going to do a player ratings video as well, guys. And yeah, guys, if you joined us on the watch along as well, thanks very much for that, and hope you enjoyed that. And I'm going to leave it there, guys. Anyway, keep smiling, keep the faith. I'll have the new studio up and in action on the next video. And I'll leave it there, guys. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend and don't panic. See you later, guys.